So the stuff list for One Punch Man Season 3 Episode 2 just got revealed, and yes everyone, welcome back to the Good News series. The series where I break down the stuff list behind One Punch Man Season 3 before each episode even airs. Basically, I dive deep into who's working behind the scene on the episodes, the storyboarder, the director, animator, all of them. And I'll give you a better idea of what kind of quality we can expect when the episode actually drops. Today, we're looking at episode 2, which hasn't aired yet, but the stuff list has already been revealed. Credit to Donut on Twitter for the stuff list. I'll be linking it down in the description of today's video. So yes everyone, without further ado, don't forget to subscribe and like, and let's get straight into the stuff list itself. Alright, so here's the stuff list for One Punch Man Season 3 Episode 2. So we got again storyboarder Shinpei Nagai with Mitsuki Hirose as the assistant storyboarder, but here is where I actually left it out in my last Good News video. So we actually have Rashiku Lab, an outsourced studio, sending two people helping Shinpei Nagai in terms of the storyboard as well. And we got Iwao Iwanaga and Yuko Kawashima. And as for episode director, we got Hikaru Tanaka. Chief animation director, we got only one, which is Kazumi Ono again. We got 4 animation directors, basically plus 2 compared to the previous episode. We got again Kazumi Ono, Kane Komatsu, Bom Sok Hong, and Yumi Nakayama. Meanwhile, for key animation, we got Kazumi Ono again, Yushen Yang, Yuya Kishi, Kazuhiko Abe, Masahiro Okamura, Eiji Tamari, Atsushi Ito, VU, Yo Ching Wang, and Setsuko Uno. And as from JC stuff themselves, we got Kenichiro Aoki, Wakana Yamaguchi, and Ryo Ogaito. So in a bit, I'll be giving some brief explanation on what this role does and also the person behind each role, their past work and all that. So yeah, let's get straight into the storyboard segment. Storyboard is where the director's vision starts to shape visually. These artists basically take the written script and then turn it into rough sketches to show how scene flows. And for episode 2, we also got Shinpei Nagai with Hirose Mitsuki as the assistant. And obviously the two people from Rashiku Lab assisting, but apparently it is for digitalization, in which in this case, seems like Hirose Mitsuki actually did help in terms of the storyboarding of the episode. But as for the two people from Rashiku Lab, they are basically the one that writes down stuff into spreadsheet, the necessary shooting instruction and special effects. These two people from Rashiku Lab is the one that will be organizing these details and all that. But in terms of actual storyboarding, yes, Shinpei Nagai does it himself with the assistance of Hirose Mitsuki. So to clear it up, it's not 4 people working on one storyboard. Production isn't that bad yet for now. Well, at least for the first few episodes. But yes, it's actually just 2 of them, which is Shinpei Nagai and Hirose Mitsuki, working on the storyboard for episode 1 and episode 2. And based on episode 1 as the standard of what Shinpei Nagai does, in this particular case, it's mostly one-to-one to the manga, which is I'm not a big fan of. But at the same time, it is a dialogue episode overall. I'm not sure about episode 2. I heard that there's going to be some actions, but not that major. So mostly this episode is going to be another yapping episode with a bit of action in it. So that is the part where I'm particularly interested in. I'm not sure in terms of action storyboarding. Again, we don't really have any concrete proof of Shinpei Nagai's actual capability on it yet. But in terms of yapping episode, in terms of build up episode, we kind of see the trend of him making the storyboard one-to-one to the manga, which again is not the best. I do understand that he is fast in terms of storyboarding, but fast doesn't always mean the final product will be good, am I right? So in this case, I just hope that the storyboarding, or at least a framing of some scenes, can be much more fresher, can be much more, well, I would say it's just not a plainly copy of the manga. It's not just one-to-one to the manga. Don't get me wrong, I don't have anything against manga faithful or like manga accuracy, but when everything is just one-to-one, then what's the point of an anime adaptation? But I really hope that in this particular episode, Shinpei Nagai can prove me wrong on the standard of him being a storyboarder, because considering episode 1, the framing, the storyboarding of that episode just doesn't feel confident, or it's not as ambitious as I was expecting it to be. So here I'm going to be giving an expectation of, well, it's going to be another dialogue episode, so it's probably going to be another one-to-one composition, the same as the manga, I guess. But at the same time, in episode 1, there are some few part of the actual episode itself where you can actually see a bit of Nagai's ambitious storyboarding, in which I would say doesn't always get the best final product, because well, you can have an ambitious storyboards, but the execution just doesn't land. So here, I just hope that in this episode 2, Shinpei Nagai can actually be more confident in terms of how the storyboards actually look overall, and hope that the execution of it can be well made as well. Oh my goodness, I didn't know I took that long for the storyboard section, but let's move on to the episode director, Hikaru Tanaka. So, think of the episode director as the coordinator of pretty much everything in the episode itself. They're not animating directly, but they're the one that will be approving animation layouts, direct the photography team, and basically make sure every department aligns with the episode's tone. Alright, so while I personally don't know much about her, but looking at her profile, she is affiliated with JC Stuff and has worked on quite a few of their anime. She's been listed as episode director for multiple episodes of Requiem of the Rose King, specifically episode 1, 6, 8, 12, 18, and 24, and also handled the same role for One Punch Man Season 2 OVA episode 2. Now I'll be honest, I haven't actually watched any of those, yes, not even the One Punch Man OVA, no fake fan, but I did see a lot of people praising her work in Danmachi Season 4 episode 2, which she also directed, and from what fans said, that episode was handled pretty well overall. So honestly, I can't really put a finger on how she'll handle One Punch Man Season 3 episode 2, but based on her track record, I'm hoping we're in for something good. Now next one we got Chief Animation Director or Sosakuga Kantoku. This is one of the most important roles I would say, but again, every roles are very important, but their job is to maintain consistency in how characters look across every cut. Even if multiple animators work on the same scene, the Chief Animation Director ensures that everyone still look like the same person, on model and faithful to the character designs. Here, that responsibility falls on Kazumi Ono, who's also one of the episode's key animators and also animation director. Now, I'm not sure if you guys actually notice it, but I actually just reused the same clip from my last Good News video because it's exactly the same person, so I hope you guys don't mind that. But yes, everyone, Kazumi Ono is back for the Chief Animation Director role in this episode, and well, this is a pretty good news, I guess I would say. Ironic, am I right? I mean, like, the series name is good, okay. So basically, Kazumi Ono is back for the Chief Animation Director role, and I would say it's a pretty good one, since the strongest aspect of the first episode is literally the art itself and how most of the drawing shot actually looks really consistent overall. And I'll also be including the animation director segment for this one, so boom, their job is to directly supervise the key animators, making sure every movement looks right, the perspective holds up, and the animation feels smooth and expressive. Him as the animation director and chief animation director for this episode, because overall I would say the drawing and also the consistency of overall character looks really good in episode 1, and him being back is definitely good, which also explains why the strong character drawing are there as well. But something I don't really understand is where the hell is the character designer of the season itself? Chikashi Kubuta isn't even here. Shinjiro Kuroda, Yosuke Shirokawa, all three of them are not even present in the first and second episode, so probably they are being saved on to work on the more prioritized episode, who knows. But yes, everyone, looking at the actual AD list itself, there's 4 of them this time. Maybe they are stepping into the territory of, well, we need more people to work on this episode because we are catching up to production date. But yes, everyone, let's hope that the overall consistency of the drawing and also the quality of the drawing will still be the same as episode 1, since that is indeed the strongest aspect of season 3 so far. But yes, everyone, those are pretty much it. But I do want to talk a bit more about Kenichiro Aoki because, well, please do look forward for his cut in episode 2 itself, because I do think that this will be the major difference from episode 1, since episode 1 doesn't really have any of those insane looking action scene. This time there will be apparently some action scene in the actual episode itself, and I've heard a lot of great things about Kenichiro Aoki having a standalone cut in this particular episode itself. So yes, Kenichiro Aoki will again be the highlight of the episode. So those are basically it. Thank you very much for watching this video. I am kind of in rush to finish this video, obviously, because there's really nothing much to talk about since most of the stuff are the same as the episode 1 itself. So yeah, let's just hope that the overall episode will at least move a bit, and again, look forward for Kenichiro Aoki's cut in episode 2 of One Punch Man season 3. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next One Punch Man goodness video. Goodbye.